Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Ganthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. All glories to Sambul devotees. All glories to Sambul devotees. All glories to Sambul devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the morning Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 27 and Text 6. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 6. Yamadibir yogapater abhyasan shraddhayanvita mayi bhavena satyena matkata shravanena cha. Yamadibir yogapater abhyasan shraddhayanvita mayi bhavena satyena matkata shravanena cha. Yamadibir yogapater abhyasan shraddhayanvita mayi bhavena satyena matkata shravanena cha. Prabhuji. Yamadibir yogapater abhyasan shraddhayanvita mayi bhavena satyena matkata shravanena cha. You want to try? Mataji, you want to try? Yamadibir yogapater abhyasan shraddhayanvita mayi bhavena satyena matkata shravanena cha. What to what meaning? Please repeat with me. Yamadibi, beginning with Yama, Yogapati, by the yoga system, Abhyasan, practicing, Shraddhayanvita, with great faith, my, unto me, Bhavena, with devotion, Satyena, unalloyed, Matkata, stories about me, Shravanena, by hearing, Cha, and. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation, just please repeat with me. One has to become faithful by practicing the controlling process of the yoga system and must elevate himself to the platform of unalloyed devotional service by chanting and hearing about me. So purport, please listen the purport. Yoga is practiced in 8 different stages: Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Yama and Niyama mean practicing the controlling process by following strict regulations. And Asana refers to the sitting postures. These help raise one to the standard of faithfulness in devotional service. The practice of yoga physical exercise is not ultimate goal. The real end is to concentrate and to control the mind and train oneself to the situated in faithful devotional service. Bhavena or bhava is very important factor in the practice of yoga or in the spiritual process. Bhava is explained in Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Bhuda bhava samanvita. One should be absorbed in the thought of love of Krishna. When one knows that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of everything and that everything emanates from Him, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, then one understands the Vedantaparism, Janma Dasya Yatha, the original source of everything, and then he can become absorbed in Bhava, the preliminary stage of love of Godhead. Rupa Goswami explains very nicely in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhi how this Bhava or preliminary stage of love of Godhead is achieved. He states that one first of all has to become faithful, Shraddhayanvita. Faith is attained by controlling the senses, either by yoga practice, following the rules and regulations and practicing the sitting postures, or by engaging directly in Bhakti Yoga as recommended in the previous verse. Of the 9 different items of Bhakti Yoga, the first and foremost is to chant and hear about the Lord. That is also mentioned here. Mat Katha Shravanena Cha. One may come to the standard of faithfulness by following the rules and regulations of the yoga system, and the same goal can be achieved simply by chanting and hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord. The word cha is significant. Bhakti Yoga is a direct and other process is indirect. But even if the indirect process is taken, there is no success unless one comes fully to the direct process of hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. Therefore, the word Satchena is used here. In this connection, Swami Sridhara comments that Satchena means Nishkapatena, without duplicity. These impersonalists are full of duplicity. Sometimes they pretend to execute devotional service, but their ultimate idea is to become one with Supreme. This is duplicity, kapata. The Bhagavatam does not allow this duplicity. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated, Paramo Nirmastaranam. This treatise Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are completely free from envy. The same point is again stressed here. Unless one is completely faithful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages himself in the process of hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, there is no possibility of liberation. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome once again. So we'll continue reading the Canto 3, Chapter 27, and today's verse is text 6. Okay, so in the last chapter we discussed about the material creation. How the fundamental principles of material creation, and then we understood what are the various things, ingredients in the material universe which are used to create this material world. Now the material, we understand that what are the key ingredients to create material world, and we saw that how the Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu and Brahma, they were all creating, they are involved in the process of creating the universe. Now, after material one universe is created, what the living entities are there in this material world. Now, this chapter we can understand through this chapter what is the experience of living entity. We can understand, like there are both positive and negative sides are there. It all depends on what activities we choose. Like if you are building a new house, first you make a plan, you will get all the ingredients, you construct a new house. Then you will start thinking about your experience in the new world, whether I will be comfortable, whether all the facilities are there, if there is any problem comes in the house, what I have to do, all those things. So you will start planning your experience in the house. Same way, in the previous chapter we understood how this material universe is being created, and now in this material world how the living entity is having the experience, what kind of experience he is having, how we can control this experience, how we can change the experience in our favor. So that is what we are trying to understand. So the key thing is, in the last chapter the last verse, it was mentioned the our material, we are distracted towards material things, and our mind is keep on getting attracted towards those material things. Because of that, our mind and intelligence and mind, they are not able to focus on Supreme Lord. So this is the nature of them. In this material world, our mind and intelligence is keep on getting distracted due to these material elements, and because of that we are not able to focus our mind on Supreme Lord. So as long as we are in the actually, if you see the first question Devahuti asked, she wanted to understand absolute truth. Absolute means Supreme Personality of Godhead. She wanted to understand in full, not just Paramatma realization or Brahman realization. She wanted to understand full person, Krishna, Supreme Lord. She wanted. So as long as your material senses are entangled or involved in mind, intelligence, everything is involved in this material enjoyment, you will not be able to understand the absolute truth. You are not able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you have to concentrate mind on the Supreme Lord, then only you will be able to understand him. That's what we read in Bhagavad Gita. Only through devotion you can understand. Bhaktya mam abhijanat. So you will know only Krishna through devotion. Otherwise, to start devotion, you have to fix your mind on Supreme Personality of Godhead. So but what is happening in this material world? The nature of the material universe is such that you are involved in various material activities. So because of that, your mind, intelligence and senses are involved in those activities, and you are completely away from this, your original goal. So what is required? The same thing was mentioned in the last verse of the chapter, the previous notice, detachment. You need to develop the detachment through which when you start developing the detachment, then you will be able to control your mind and intelligence, and that you will be able to fix your mind on Supreme Lord. Then your devotional process begins. So this is what, and then in the first chapter of this verse also mentioned, it is mentioned that when you are in that mode, when your mind is fixed on Supreme Lord, then you will be, even though you are in this material world, three modes will be acting on you, but you will not be getting disturbed with those three material modes. See, this is all we can see. The Prabhupada nicely explained in the few verses, in the last verses, in the previous verses, in this chapter and the last verse of the previous chapter. See, the Devahuti question was also same. How we can get out of the disturbances caused by these material senses. Here also we can understand this process Prabhupada was mentioning in the purports, right? You have to fix your mind, intelligence on Supreme Lord. For that, if you don't fix it, you will be involved in material enjoyment. If you fix it, you will be able to focus progress in devotion, and you will not be impacted by the material modes. So this is what we have been discussing in the previous verses. And not only that, so one more the important thing we can understand from the previous chapter and this chapter is like all the material elements, like the mind, all the sense objects, water, fire, air, ether, and various other senses were created when the Mahatattva, the Pradhana, or the Mahatattva is in predominant mode is false ego, ahankara. So when the senses are created, when the material nature is exhibiting ahankara state, so by default all the senses will have the same quality. And because of those senses, now we got the body with all those material senses. So we also start thinking that I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller. These are the qualities we develop because these senses are created when the material nature is exhibiting false ego state. So this is how we can understand from the last chapter and this what we can connect and see overall picture. So that is where this chapter is giving, once Jiva is in the material universe, how he is able to exhibit, what kind of experience he is having. So the experience he is having is either he will be going towards enjoyment, material enjoyment, but if he is able to control his things and when he follow the devotional process, he will be free from material modes and then he will focus on devotional path. This is briefly we can understand connecting all the verses from previous chapter and this chapter. And now the key point here is controlling the mind. So when we talk about controlling the mind, fixing the mind on lotus feet of Supreme Lord, what is the first thing we get is yoga system, yoga process. So that's where in the verse also it is started with Yama Dibir. The Yama means Ashtanga Yoga. There are 8 stages, right? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. These are the various, we have been discussing these various limbs of this Ashtanga Yoga many times, but in relation to connecting to this verse also discussing, so we will briefly touch on this. Yama means you are following some rules, the moral response, discipline activities you are following, like you have to non-violence, truthfulness, and not stealing anything. So these are some of the rules which we need to follow as part of Yama. Niyama means positive duties like cleanliness and Svadhyaya, studying scriptures, and these are some of the positive activities. So if you say that Niyama is like don'ts, Niyama is like a do's. Then you will start asana, sitting postures. You have to. So all this basic aim of this is you have to control your mind. That is but as a beginning, we are starting these various limbs of the yoga system prescribing what are the activities we have to do. And the pranayama, this breathing technique. This breathing technique, if you control, that will impact your mind. The way if you develop the positive way, control the breathing, then your mind will also you will be able to control. And the pratyahara. Pratyahara means sense withdrawal. Means, so in this material, we have all the senses, like eyes are there to see, nose to smell, tongue to eat, ears to listen, right? Those are all sense withdrawal. So we are practicing withdrawing from outside and we try to focus inside with these senses. That is pratyahara. And dharana means you have to start focusing on the concentration. The concentration that's where I mentioned in the last chapter of our discussion, where some people who are fully materially involved, they can focus on universal form of Lord. This is where, so in the beginning, in the dharana stage. But when dhyana stage comes, you achieved meditation, you deeply absorbing, that is where you will start focusing on the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, Krishna. And then samadhi is the final stage where you will bliss and enlightenment and happen. So the main for the end of this stage, what you will start realizing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu in 400 form. You will realize that he is in your heart. You will be able to see. So this is final enlightenment. What is happening in this whole process? At the end of this, when you achieve the samadhi state perfection, in the samadhi stage, you will be realizing that you are not the body, you are the soul. Super soul is there, who is within our heart, he is Supreme Lord. This kind of realization, not just knowledge, you feel. So you know that you are not the body, you are the soul, and the super soul is Vishnu. So this kind of enlightenment happens through this process. But there is no devotion. This is only the pure. You will see Vishnu, that's it, there. But when you involve the bhakti, that is where you will be. In this whole process, gave you the fixing the mind on lotus feet. Using this fixing the mind, you keep on meditating and you do focus on Supreme Lord. You do devotional services. Then that is where your um, devotions. That's why this process mentioned, Prabhupada mentioned in this purport, it is an indirect process. Because the direct benefit of the yoga system is you will be fixing your mind and you will be realizing the Vishnu, Supreme Lord is there as a super soul. But beyond that, when you mix with bhakti, where you are doing all the devotional activities, chanting, hearing and doing any other services with this knowledge, then you will be able to progress. That's why Prabhupada mentioned it as an indirect process. So, but in a normal society we see yoga means like in the current society everybody is using like a physical fitness exercise kind of thing. But this is the ultimate goal of yoga where you will realize the super soul. Now, in the case of, we see the Kardama Muni, in the previous chapters we read, 24th, I think 25th chapters, right? What Kardama Muni did, he followed the same approach, this indirect process. His father Brahma asked to create the progeny. But what he did, he started yoga process. And he did for almost 10,000 years. Of course, in that age, their lifespan is bigger. But still, the 10,000 years is a long duration. He did for 10,000 years with the yoga as well as the devotion. And at the end, he was able to see Vishnu. Vishnu appeared after seeing his devotion and with a mixed which then Vishnu gave the benediction that okay, everything that, and then he mentioned that Swayambhuva Manu will come, you will get married with Devati, all those things happened. So, but the process we have to understand is he followed this Ashtanga Yoga and the devotion mixed with devotion. That is where he was able to see the Lord, Supreme Lord Vishnu appear directly in front of him. So this is the process proved, worked, and it is mentioned in the scriptures, and previously the sages like Kardama Muni and many others, even Dhruva Maharaj also he did the Ashtanga Yoga. He did very severe austerity, like he stopped eating anything for the and he was only standing on one feet, and then he was only inhaling the air. Like that, there are so many austerities he did. After some, then Lord Vishnu appeared. So this process works. This is the indirect process. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. Then what is the direct process? Direct process is, so same thing, the bhakti. The bhakti is the direct process, devotional process, where we do chanting, hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam and all those things, right? So in this Prabhupada is referring to the verse 10.8. Aham sarvasva prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajan semam buddha bhava samanvitam. So the word which we have to focus on this, the translation is, I am the source of both physical and material world. Everything is coming from me. Those who know me, this knowledge, they will fix their mind on me. They will start meditating on me. That is what Krishna. So this is a basic principle, right? This is the only principle. It is mentioning that those who get to know that Supreme Lord is everything. He is everything emanating from me. He is the source of everything. He is ultimately everything. Those who get this knowledge, they will start meditating on Supreme Lord. But this is a one statement, knowledge. But how this process works? What is how people will get the knowledge? And with when we get the knowledge, what all the things will happen? How we will be able to progress in devotion? That process we don't know. Just the ultimate end product is mentioned, right? When you get this knowledge, you will be focusing. But how these whole things work, right? That is where we can understand from the nectar of devotion, the Rupa Goswami. There are 9 stages of devotion, right? So the first stage it is mentioned, Shraddha, the faith. And this is the faith, and the next one is Sadhu Sangha, association with the saintly people. And then Bhajana Kriya, it means performing all the devotional activities. These are the various stages in devotion. So everyone who started devotion, they will be going through all these stages. And Anartha Nivrutti, once you are doing the Bhajana Kriya, everything, then you start getting rid of your anarthas. And then the steadiness will come, Nishtha. And with that steadiness, your taste towards the activities, the devotion will develop. And then you start attachment stage, and then bhava stage. This is the bhava we are referring in this verse as well. And bhava means the love of God. And the prema is the ultimate perfection. You are the pure love of Godhead. So before getting the pure love, we will be getting the love of God. And then to reach that, all the activities it was meant. So these are the various activities we follow in order to get the pure devotion. This is where bhava stage is the love. This is where we fix our mind on Krishna, the Supreme Lord. In order to reach this stage, these are various activities. Like first step is Shraddha, faith. This is the preliminary qualification. Like how we get this faith? Suppose you devotees are distributing books in the outside road, and some person got chance to get the book, Bhagavad Gita. Then he will go through the Bhagavad Gita. Then he will get to know that the temple is here. He will come here to the temple. Then he will have a prasadam, he will attend a harati. Then some devotees will meet, and then they will talk to him, and they will ask him to come whenever he is free. Then he will slowly coming to the temple, and once he starts coming, then what will happen? He will start getting associated with other devotees. Then he will see what other devotees are doing. They will be doing various services in the temple. They will be doing chanting. This is where sadhu sangha is starting. And when they are doing those things, he will be inspired. He will getting, they are doing 16 rounds. Let me start with one round. So this is how the whole process starts. The preliminary thing is you should have a desire, and that desire, by the mercy of Guru, Krishna, you devotees distributing books or prasadam, they will eat that, they will take the book, and they will get the entrance into this abode, the 180 Falcon Street. And then he will get association, and then he will start doing the activities. So then once you start doing the activities, all your anarthas will be slowly getting wiped out. And then you feel blissful, and you feel positive energy will be there inside you. So then you will continue, keep on doing, not just one day or on Ekadashi day or not. You keep on, like you all are attending regular Bhagavatam class. This is like a study nishtha kind. Every regularly you are doing, right? Steadiness. So with that you will develop. So this is how the gradually bhava state comes. Bhava state is this, where you will fix your mind. This is where the love of you, your love will be generated towards Supreme Lord, and you will be very serious in the process. This is the stage Prabhupada is mentioning, and this is the stage we have to achieve. When we get this stage, you will be free from all the impact of material modes. So you are in this material world, you are in the material body, but all the disturbances, when you are walking on the road, you will see so many disturbances. Your mind will be, the senses are there, 5 senses, and the mind is there. All the senses feel all the dirty things into your mind when you go walking on the road. But when you are in that absorbed bhava state, when you achieve this state, it will not be impacted by all those, whatever disturbances getting your outside world. You will not get any impact on this. So what are the symptoms of when you stage the bhava stage? Like when one develops intense longing for beloved Lord. So you will try to come and see the Lord Gopinath. You wanted to do more service. If he doesn't want to waste time, even if you blink the eye, the amount of time it takes to blink, that much amount of time also you don't want to miss any service, or you want to do your sadhana, everything you want to completely absorbed in devotion. That is the stage. Now, so that's why these are the 9 the nectar of devotion steps. Rupa Goswami mentioned there are the 9 stages, using which we can get into the devotional stage. Now another important aspect I wanted to touch here. See, one we had understood indirect process, other one is direct process. These two processes will help you to get a progress in your devotion. Then you will be able to continue devotion. So this is what in the material nature. Otherwise you will be, if you don't follow these steps, you will be taking repeated birth and death in the material world. You are involved in all material enjoyment, sense pleasure, all the activities through which you will be taking repeated birth and death. But when you take this process, yoga process or devotion process, you will be able to come out of these impacts. That is one aspect. Now, we are almost grihasthas, many of them, and we have to do the grihastha life. We have a family, we have the kids, or family member, parents, brothers, it's like that. And we need to have the social life as well sometimes. And this is where sometimes we discuss, we need to balance material and spiritual things. This is a general discuss. Generally, it's a common among the many grihasthas, right? We need to balance grihastha life and the spiritual life and the material life. But one thing we need to understand, up to what context, up to what extent you have to balance this. I'm not suggesting whether I'm not giving any solution here, but what I'm trying to explain is, by using these 9 stages in devotion, we can understand what is the impact. If you're too much engrossed in material things, Like you assume that, okay, I'm coming to Mangalaharti, I'm reading, chanting 16 rounds, and I'm doing Bhagavatam every day, and are you doing all activities? With that justification, you may tend to see, okay, you wanted to go to movie, or you wanted to go to some reading any comics or novels, something, right? You get some kind of temptation because you justify, oh, okay, I'm doing all activities. Sometime I can spend on this much time I'm spending on spiritual activities. Okay, sometime I can spend on material things, right? So that kind of temptation you may get sometimes. So I'm not saying what is wrong, what is right. What I'm trying to say, what will be the impact when we fail to balance spiritual and material, what will happen? This we can understand through this, whatever the Rupa Goswami 9 stages mentioned, right? We can understand how it impacts. Suppose, if you see that there are 9 stages, faith you will get. Since you got initial preliminary qualification, you are doing all the activities. Right? And now you started association. With that association, you are able to attend Mangalarti, you are able to chant rounds, you are able to read Bhagavatam, you got all the activities. Right? Now you are doing the Bhajana Kriya. Your Bhajana Kriya means different devotional activities. Now you started doing all the devotional activities. Now the next step is Anartha Nivrutti. This is where when you are doing the Bhajana Kriya, and your mind, you gave yourself justification that, okay, I did all these activities, so for some time I will go in a material sense pleasure, watching movies or reading any magazines or anything. What will happen? You read those things. Next day when you are doing chanting, your mind will, okay, yesterday you saw the movie, so you are doing morning chanting. Suddenly you keep on remembering what all things there in the movie dialogues or any different scenes, how this did actor did performed. All those things will coming into your mind, right? When you are doing sadhana, these things will come. Obviously it will come. Whatever the way you try to stop, these things will keep coming. Or if you read any book, magazine, then you keep remembering the sentences from that book, and it will impact. What will happen? When you are doing devotional service, and your mind will keep on having those thoughts, the material thoughts which you are doing. What will happen? The next stage is Anartha Nivrutti. When you don't, Bhajana Kriya is not proper, what will happen? The Anartha Nivrutti stage will be delayed. When Anartha Nivrutti stage is delayed, what will happen? The steadiness in your devotion will be going. Right? And then subsequent stage will be delayed. Right? We are only, the life is 100 years. But we don't know when we can die. Anytime we can die. And in this time, if you spend some time on material activities, and with that material activity, your Bhajana Kriya getting disturbed, that's what I'm saying. How much, up to what extent you can balance. It's individual choice. Some people will have the greater, more and more spending on spiritual and the less on material thing. Some people may spend more on material and less on spiritual act, right? So but you need to balance it. But if one thing is, material thing is going up, then what is happening? Your Bhajana Kriya getting disturbed, the devotional activity is getting, and when the devotional activities are getting disturbed, the subsequent stages like Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti and the Bhava stage, all things will be getting delayed. Like if you see that this only in the Kali Yuga, 10,000 years is a golden period. That is where we have the possibility to perform devotion, right? If you miss this chance, that's it. You will be completely in the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga will take over you, right? Within this 10,000 years, you should be able to get out of this material world. Otherwise, your Bhajana Kriya getting impacted and all the subsequent stages getting impacted, and your progress will be very, very, very slow, right? This is what we need to understand. We can understand from this that we need to balance both social, material, and we are in this material world. We are leading the Grihastha life, so we have to balance. But up to what extent we can balance? We can balance up to such that it is not getting impacted your devotion, your Bhajana Kriya, devotional activity. Your Bhajana Kriya is not getting impacted. If that is getting impacted, your spiritual progress is delayed, and you will keep on taking more and more repeated birth and death. So this is the one key thing we need to take from this, the devotional process. Now, the next thing is, we understood the two processes, direct and indirect process. Now, both the process, if you see, there are different activities we have to see. In the indirect process, like Yama, Niyama, Asana, and in a devotion process also we saw Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, bhajana kriya. Like all these are various activities. So when you're following this process, either the direct process or indirect process, you have to perform particular activities on a regular basis. This is called practicing. We are to practice those steps mentioned in the prescribed in the both direct or indirect process. But if you have to practice regularly, what is important thing? You need to have a discipline. That is important thing. Suppose you wanted to attend Mangalarti every day, right? That you wanted to practice that. Make a practice of attending every day, morning 4:30 you wanted. For that, what you need to do? You have to sleep early in the previous night. And we have to sleep and then you can get up early, right? So that you have to practice means you have to have the disciplined life. How you can sleep early in the night by 9 o'clock or 8:39 you want to sleep? You need to have plan your activities, everything. So the discipline is important. So the one of the key ingredients for we should have that quality. We should develop the quality which is discipline. Discipline is one of the important things which we. So same thing. If you want to attend Mangalarti, you have to regulate discipline, follow the discipline life. You have to sleep early, and then the next day you can get up early. And if you want to come to the temple daily, so you may have you want to attend every day one darshan I wanted to take. If you make that wanted to follow that, for that also you need. You have to practice that. You need to have discipline. Means in a complete schedule, you have to fix one slot for taking darshan. Like you may come in the Mangalarti, you may attend in Darshanarti, or you may be in the afternoon. So you fix your time. You plan everything, discipline life such that you will come and attend Arati. So these are all various things. Discipline is important in our to perform the devotion. We need to have the disciplined life in order to follow the direct or indirect process, so that you will progress in your devotion. That's what the practice, even 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was asking, the mind is unable, Arjuna was telling that, the mind it's disturbing. Every time you try to control the mind, it's keep on moving somewhere. Then Krishna says, yes, it is difficult, but you have to practice. Abhyasastu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate, right? You need to keep practicing. If you have to practice, you need to be disciplined. This is one of the key important aspect if you have to progress in this material universe. You are in this material world, you want to progress. One of the important things we need to develop is a discipline. Disciplined life is key to the success of your devotion. The next thing is, if you see the Kardamuni example, he did 10,000 years that yoga with devotion, right? 10,000 years is not an easy thing. How he got that inspiration to do this activity for 10,000 years, right? Any activity we do, after some time we get disturbance, we get a distraction, and then we lose the focus. That can happen more frequently, any time, right? Because in this material, nature is such that Maya will keep on acting us and it will create a distraction in you. But doing the same set of activities repeatedly, again and again, what is required? You need to have a determination. Determination is the second important thing. Like first one is disciplined life is the key to success of your devotion. Next one is you should have a determination. So I was listening the lecture by His Grace Radhesham Prabhu. He was nicely explaining, if we want to do the devotion, we need to develop the qualities like a tortoise. Tortoise, what it does, it has all the senses. Anytime it can withdraw. And whenever it wants, he can release the senses. That is what it does. So that kind of quality. Same thing, we have to, when we are in the temple, we need to open our mind, eyes, ears, everything, focus on listening kirtan, taking darshan, doing service, right? That should be our mind. And when you go outside, you will see so many disturbances, distractions when you are walking on the road, right? Our senses should be withdrawn, should be focused. This is the quality we have to develop. That is one quality. And the next one is, in order to develop the determination, just having a determination, okay, I wanted to show that determination, it doesn't come, right? You need to get the quality, develop the quality of determination. How you can develop the determination is, the Prabhu was explaining very nicely. So we have three things: intelligence, mind, and senses. These are all connected. Like when you, the mind is the one, like if mind has to perform something, it will depend on intelligence. And based on the mind's instruction, senses will act, right? So these are all connected. If like example, mental example Prabhu was explaining, suppose head of the family is there. Head of the family, if he is very strict, is very strong, then what? He is very disciplined. Then what will happen? His wife will follow his footsteps. And when the husband and wife is following the footsteps, then obviously his kids will not have any other option. They will also follow, right? So, like the same thing, the Prabhu compared this analogy to the intelligence, mind and senses. Intelligence is like a head of the family, mind is like a wife, senses are like a kids. If the intelligence is strong, strengthened, then you will be able to your mind will follow the intelligence, whatever intelligence is giving the instructions, you will follow. And even your mind is following the aligned to intelligence, your senses will be aligned to the mind. So we need to strengthen our intelligence. Then when your intelligence is strong enough, then mind will listen the intelligence, and your mind is there, all the senses connected to mind, right? Your ears, eyes, tongue, everything connected to mind. So mind also it will not get disturbed with all the external factors, because intelligence, you have to get discrimination power. What is right, what is wrong, right? The discrimination power, it will be developed when you strengthen your intelligence. But when the discrimination power, the strengthening the intelligence comes through what? It is coming through Shastras. You need to read the Shastras, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. You need to associate with the devotees, sannyasis, and listen more and more, get the more and more knowledge. When you read, improve your knowledge, then your understanding will increase. That way, it will strengthen your intelligence. With the Shastric knowledge, you will be able to see what is right, what is wrong. The discrimination power is coming to decide whether this activity is a good or this activity. So the intelligence is strong then. Then when the intelligence is strong, your mind says, okay, this is not good for spiritual progress, ignore it. Then mind says, sense says, okay, ignore it. That's it. This is the process works. So the strengthening the knowledge. So Shastra, Swadhyaya, the Shastra, by reading the scriptures, understanding the scriptures, getting the knowledge from scriptures, this is very important thing to strengthen our determination. So the first thing is discipline, second thing is determination. Determination will come when we read the scriptures. So what are the other possibilities to strengthen our determination for devotion? The chanting. When we started coming to the temple, we were doing one round of chanting, right? It used to take 10 minutes. After so many days, after so many months or so many years, what happened? You started increasing the rounds. How it is coming? Someone is, okay, Prabhu, you start just, if someone tells do 16, it won't come automatically, right? Reaching the 16 stages, you need to have a discipline and you need to have a determination, right? How the determination is coming? Through chanting. You started the devotional activities, chanting, and that is giving you the strength that to do more and more. So after 2 years, you are doing 16 rounds, and some devotees will do 25 rounds to 32 rounds on Ekadashi, right? So how that is coming? The chanting, the more chanting you do, the more determination you will get. Not only that, before coming to the Krishna conscious, you might be eating many other things, non-Krishna conscious items, food items, right? But once you start doing the devotional activities, chanting and other, right? What is happening? You are able to control your senses towards those items, right? So the determination, chanting is the key ingredient to increase your determination. So in summary, we have to fix our mind. In this material universe, there are so many disturbances. So for that, you need to develop the detachment. In order to develop the detachment, you have to fix your mind on Supreme Lord. If you focus on Supreme Lord, how you can develop? Either by yoga process with devotion or direct devotion. But in order to do that, you need to develop the disciplined life and determination. So this is the key summary we can take from this verse. Any comments? Any questions? Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So sometimes we feel like, oh, I'm not recognizing my Krishna consciousness, I'm not getting package, something like that. And at that time, we become so upset, kind of. So like that distorts our consciousness. This is not happening. And yeah, at that time, how can we balance that? We're like not getting anxious and we're being disturbed in that. Plus we have to maintain our body.
Yeah.
So how can we?
See, Prabhu, that is the key thing. That's what mentioned there. You have the discipline. You are doing the activities, right? But determination is like little sometimes. Our determination is not strong. Like when, like it's not our fault. Like when you are our material world is situated, we see many other things which are going that may be impacting you. That is one. So all to avoid this kind of situation, the best thing is association. When you see that person who already achieved advancement in that path, you get association to him and talk to him, get his advice. So that is the one aspect. Then second thing, the various examples mentioned, it's not a theory, right? That's what we need to recollect these points. It is not a theory. There are many great people followed and showcased the advancement. So have a faith, have strong determination that okay, many people have achieved this one, so I can also progress. And next step is that you yourself, that is you have to tell your mind that this is what, yes, everybody followed this approach and the proven things are there in Bhagavatam and our scripture. Next thing, associate with the senior devotee who is regularly following, he has been doing forever ages and he is able to progress. When you talk to him, when you discuss with him, he will give the proper insight. He will improve your confidence, your determination. So association with the devotees. So that's what our bhajana, sadhu sangha is important. Right? If your association is with the materialistic people, become completely moving away from the path. But when you keep on associating with the people who already advanced in the sadhana, when you talk to them, when you listen to them, you will immediately you will get energy, you will get inspiration to continue. So it works, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you mentioned the material life and the spiritual life.
Yeah.
We're trying to find a balance. How can we advance it in the spiritual life?
See, yes, Prabhu. See, balance in the sense, that's what, up to what extent you have to balance, that is a thing. See, at one stage, in the initial stages, you may be able to do that. But after certain stage time, you have to fix your mind on devotion. That is see, the initial stage, like if you say another analogy I can give you, right? If we have a 4 ashramas, right? Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasi. Up to Grihastha age, you will be in the family life, right? So you will be doing you will be balancing the life between spiritual and material. But Vanaprastha comes, that is where you will be focusing on your Vanaprastha. It doesn't mean that Prabhupada mentioned in some cases in the purports. It's not that leaving the house and staying away from the house, living in the fun. It's not just like that. In the current situation, how we can, so you can also focus more on your spiritual activity, give importance to your spiritual activities. That is where you then, see, because we can balance this up to some particular time. Beyond that, spirituality should take place. Like that's why we have the Vanaprastha ashram, right? That is where you will do your fix your mind on devotion. But when you are balancing the spiritual and material, you need to ensure that it's not getting impacted, your devotional activity. That is the key thing. Then, see, that's what you need to do. You see, there is no hot and fast rule. You have to balance it in such a way that each one is prioritized. One particular, suppose you have to work. 9 to 5, 10 is work. But yeah, you have to work. You cannot, it's our livelihood. In the Grihastha life, that is mandatory thing to work, right? So you do your sadhana morning, get up and do all your sadhana, then go to work. And whatever money you get, your consciousness should be such that it is Krishna has arranged this work. So you have to do it sincerely. And whatever Lakshmi you get it with, so you contribute something for the devotion. Right? That way you try to keep Krishna in the center in every activity you do. It's not that you are completely move away from the material life. Like the difference between the material activities and spiritual activities is even devotees will be doing the same activities. But their consciousness will be different. Right? Their consciousness will be in devotion. As long as you are doing it, that is not a material activity, that is a spiritual activity. Right? That consciousness, like any activity you do, if you can keep Krishna in that same activity center, then it will be a spiritual activity. Though it is like a material, but But like, yeah, it is like a spiritual activity. That is one example. But suppose another example, you want to go for movies. Every new movie comes, you want to go. But that will badly impact your consciousness. That you have to control it. You can't, sorry? Movies for living. You are like, you are making a movies, yeah. You make a Krishna related movies. Or it's not the devotional. Or other option is you can do some activities which will improve the mode of goodness, which creates positivity in the public. Mode of goodness, like, so you need the different modes. Right? See, there are various things we can argue, but yeah, it is what it is. Right? So yeah. Yeah, see, that's what, yeah, that is true. Whatever activities you do, keep Krishna wherever possible. Like, that's what I give the example. One is work, other one is watching movies. Right? Watching movie, you cannot keep Krishna in the center and watch movie, right? That is not, it will impact your mind. But the work you can keep. So wherever it is possible, you need to, that's what, there is no hard and fast rule. Each individual situation is different. Everyone has to manage that. So that strength will come when you are sincere in our devotional path. Krishna will give the intelligence. Like he was saying, Krishna is the controller of the senses, right? So he will give the intelligence. We don't need to worry. He will give the intelligence when you are in the path. He will takes care of your devotion, and if you are serious, sincere, then Krishna will give the intelligence so that you will balance, you will manage things appropriately, right? That is. Hare Krishna. गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।